for our candidate forum. He will go over the format of the forum. He serves with Congressman Tim Moore, and he is a non-voter to Gastonia, so he's going to be as unbiased as possible today. He's even a non-voter to North Carolina, so I think we've got a good guy here. We're looking forward to him leading this, and if he does a good job, we're going to let him have Belmonts in 2 weeks as well. So, James Estes, here we go.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everybody. Thank you to Steve and to Pat and the GBA for putting us on. The congressman often talks about how important elections are, and most elected officials do, but for years I've said to people that I've had the opportunity to talk to, most people vote every 4 years for president, and that's obviously an important election, don't get me wrong, but the one that impacts you the most in your daily lives is your local municipal elections. And so thankful that the GBA has taken the time to host this candidate forum, and looking forward to hearing from some of the candidates this morning. I want to go over a couple of the rules. So we'll start with wards 1 and 2. They will come up first, and if the candidates for ward 1 and 2 want to come on up and sit at their placard with their name, that would be great. And then we'll move to wards 4 and 5. When wards 1 and 2 are done, full disclosure, as Steve said, I don't live in Gastonia, so I don't have a dog in the race. I'm unbiased, I can't vote for any of them, and just want to try to be as neutral as possible. So the rules are going to be the same for all candidates, and the questions were pre-scripted, drafted. I just got them this morning, so I didn't have any influence on them, but they were provided by GBA, and the pre-submitted questions from the public through the portal. Each candidate, again, for the first and second set of candidate question time, will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves. And then our folks here in the front will hold up a 15-second warning. So we'll just ask all the candidates to kind of, there's the stop for 15 seconds and stop. So we'll just ask that y'all help us stay on time. We've got a lot of folks in the room. We want to stay on time, make sure everyone's voice is heard. That we move through appropriately. So 2 minutes for introductions. I'll then read the question provided by GBA, and each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond and answer the question. The one thing I'll note is there will be no rebuttal time. If you want to rebuttal something another person has said, I would just ask that you use that time, that 60-second question time, to answer your question and rebuttal if you feel the need to. And then when we wrap up, we will have time for closing remarks as well. And then as Steve said, this will be recorded. The candidates will have the microphone. We only have the one, so we'll ask that y'all pass it around with one another. It'll be recorded and posted on the GBA's website in about 48 hours, give or take. So be on the lookout for that. And if the candidates have any answers that they didn't get to contribute here, you can send this to Steve after the day. Let's get started. No one wants to hear me talk. Let's hear from the candidates. For the purpose of remaining fair, as I ask these questions, we'll start here closest to my left with the first question. So, Demetrius, you'll answer first. And then with the second question, we'll move down, third question, fourth question, and so on, and then we'll circle back to okay. All right, so with the first question, again, for wards 1 and 2, we want to talk about qualifications. So, your question is, what personal or professional? Oh, yeah, Hooks, what do you got to do intros? Yeah, you got 2 minutes for introductions, and your time is here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First off, I'd like to thank the GBA for putting this event together, Little Theater, for allowing us to have the space, and each and every single one of you for being out here, because this is a sign of what makes our community stronger, is when people care, when people want to offer feedback, listen, and learn. So thank you all for being here. Just to start off, I'm Dimitri Koutsoupias. I represent the City Council for Ward 1. Just a little bit about myself. I have a political science degree from UNC Chapel Hill. I have served now on 2 separate municipalities prior to moving to Gastonia, my wife and my 2 boys lived in Cramerton, where I served for 8 years there on the Board of Commissioners and as Mayor Pro Tem. And of course, now I have the honor of being selected to fulfill the last year and a half. It's a great pleasure to be able to work with our city council, collectively and collaboratively for the future of our city. So I've enjoyed that. In addition to that, I'm very big on community service, community involvement. I've coached youth sports, youth basketball from my son's age to high schoolers over at Stuart Kramer. And I'm also a small business owner in Cramerton, Giorgio's Restaurant, if you ever heard of it. So that's a little bit about myself. Look forward to answering more questions and hearing from you all and learning from all of our candidates. So thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Clinton. Morning, everyone. Thank you for hosting this GBA. Good to see you again. I got to participate yesterday in the Gaston Realtors Association roundtable that was held over in McAdenville. That was a good experience. Talking more with some other business type and business persons in our county. Tying that into the GBA very quickly. My name is Glenn Silverman. I'm currently serving within my 3 years now on the Planning Commission. Prior to that, in addition to my other total 30 years of civic service, I'm a 5-year Army veteran. 20 years now with the federal government. I worked in Charlotte for 6 years in between those 2 other occupations. Talk about community involvement and leadership. I've been a Cub Master, a Scout Master, and a general neighborhood rabble rouser in Ward 2, which is how I got onto the Planning Commission, because Dave Curlin, who chose not to run for re-election this year, knew my name and selected me. I'm not a professional politician, nor do I play one on TV. Thank you. So I get a stage, I get a mic, it's fun. So with that, I've only been asked to do this since June, July, and here I am. A little bit different suiting up today versus yesterday. I flexed my marketing skills. I encourage you to seek out my Facebook page where you'll see my little logos and things like that. Today's a kind of a special day for me, both to participate in this and to be here. Thank you so much. More about my service and involvement and background. Look forward to taking my experience, judgment, knowledge to bring good decisions for our state. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Teresa Connor Green. I've held administrative and leadership positions, worked closely with city managers and senior managers and the surrounding community to solve issues. I've also helped bring city projects to pass in the surrounding towns, and while being transparent and making the environment conducive to teamwork. Also worked to get the homeless off the streets and connected them to bigger and brighter futures. And so I am Teresa Congreen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Walter James Hart Jr. I am 57 years old. I was born in Gastonia, raised in Detroit, Michigan. Graduate of Henry Ford High School in Detroit. Went on to Southern University, Central Michigan University, and started a business. I have a very colorful life. I learned a lot of things throughout my life, my early stages of my life, all the way up until I started a nonprofit in 2001, K9 Companions LTD, where I trained dogs for veterans with PTSD. I worked with Sheriff Joe Arpaio out there in Arizona in the jails. I've had experience like that when I was younger, being locked up. I'm very transparent. A lot of times we stay away from the bad and the ugly. I think we need to be more transparent about who we are and what we're going to do in life. The reason why, because you can make a change in your life. You know, a lot of us have a lot in common. First of all, we want safety in our streets. Some of the things I've learned in the past 5 years, I bought some property from my grandfather that I bought into it and came here 5 years ago to put K9 companions there. We have a lot of land that way, and so we've been using that to train dogs with the veterans. And I feel that being, the experience that I've had with this nonprofit for next year will be 25 years working with folks all over the country. I think that I can be a good asset to the council, because one of the main things I see that we all need to stick together, work together, and not figure and fight, but make sure that we stay on course and get some of these things that need to be passed. The housing, the police, we need to make sure that we are having a budget that we can afford to pay them, because we need to keep them on the streets. I thank you guys for today. Steve, invite me and Pam and the GBA. It's been a pleasure, thank you. And I look forward to you guys voting for me on November.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Boswell. I'm running for City Council in Ward 2. And I appreciate the opportunity of being here and chatting with y'all for a few minutes and answering questions and getting to know you a little better. There's a couple of things about me I just want to share. Number one, I'm not from Gastonia originally. I've been here about 27 years. However, I did vacation here as a child. So I know all about, Lineburger Fish Camp and, RO's Barbecue and, of course, Tony's ice cream. So anyway, with that said, I did, after I moved here, I did get a bachelor's from Belmont Abbey College in Business Administration. Then a couple of years later, then I went back and I got my master's from Montreat and a master's in Management and Leadership. That was all while I was working actually in, for some of the banks downtown Charlotte. And I was a construction project manager. During that time, I learned a lot of things as far as, how to look at a budget, how to determine return on investment, how to spot waste, fraud, and abuse. And I know that that's near and dear to all citizens, near and dear to their hearts. But with that said, okay, 15 seconds. Okay, so I appreciate the opportunity and would love talking with you, like I said, and thank you very much for hosting this event. It's been great.
All right. Give it up for our candidates, y'all. All right, now I'm excited to jump into questions, so appreciate all keeping me on track. And like I said, 60 seconds for a response. Our timekeepers are there. Let's jump in and start with the first one right now. So we're talking about qualifications right now. What personal or professional experience makes you the best choice to represent your ward?
All right, well, as I just mentioned, I am a experienced business owner, small business owner of Giorgio's. I have served both in Cramerton and now for about a year and a half in Gastonia. I understand the components of municipal government. I understand the importance of working together with other municipalities. We've been to so many events over the last several weeks that we meet people from Belmont, from Mount Holly, from Ranlow, etc. And they have similar issues that we face. So being able to work together, learn from each other, and focus on this region as a whole, not just Gastonia, but also the whole county. There's a lot of things that we can accomplish both economically, with infrastructure, transportation, etc. So I feel like my experience on all these committees and over the last several years brings a lot to the table for the city.
And same question, what personal or professional experience makes you the best choice for your ward?
How long is the question?
60 seconds to respond.
To me, this is citizenship in the community. I taught it as a merit badge, as a scout leader. It's the next natural progression in things that brought me to where I am, which which is why when I tell everyone I'm running for Ward 2 for City Council, they'll go, oh, you do a great job. Thank you for that. I appreciate the votes of confidence. Come out and vote. But the combination of my military experience, my current work experience, I am in management with the U.S. Treasury. I hold an accounting degree at Belmont Abbey. I hold a master's degree in accounting from Gardner-Webb. I know how to review spreadsheets and get down into the details where it comes to budgeting and making good decisions. I know the hard choices that business owners have to make to find that bottom line, to make the projects work. And I've seen that firsthand, and sometimes the devil is in the details, and I'm willing to work with business owners to find good solutions for the city.
What inspired me to run was you, the people. My expertise on how to deal with good and difficult situations, no matter how hard the circumstance or project may be to tackle. We still need to stay focused on the ultimate goal and not get caught up in the distractions, while staying transparent and positive by negotiating with integrity, character, and respect for yourself and for your environment, regardless of how tough the situation may be.
Real simple. I've been president of K9 Campaign for 25 years, self-employed pretty much my whole life. And one of the things I learned from Fort Hart, my grandfather, was it doesn't take much to live and work hard. Those two principles I stick with. I think you have to have a strict budget, you know, and cut wasteful spending out. Those were the key things. Last year we was rated one of the number one nonprofits in Gaston County. And that's why I think that I would be a great asset to the city when it comes down to being a leader and making sure the budget is proper. Thank you.
My slogan or motto, so to speak, for this campaign is essentially, how can I help? One of the reasons that I got in was to look at opportunities where we can advance our community. But more importantly, one of the things I wanted to make sure that we're doing is, you know, looking at making sure that what money that we spend is it good money, going after good things? Because I feel like that Gastonia can truly be the crown jewel of Gaston County, and I feel like it's just right around the corner. So, with that said, I feel like I can, with my past professional experience, as mentioned, I feel like I can actually be, I can contribute my skill set to make that happen.
Thank you, and Glenn, you'll take our first, you'll go first with our second question. Pass down the line as well, just like before, then it'll circle back. Question 2, let's talk about neighborhood representation. How will you balance delivering results for your ward while contributing to citywide goals that affect all the residents of Gastonia?
Thank you, good question. Ward 2 is unique. It has both residential, commercial, both multifamily and single-family homes in it. It's also got a multitude of commercial and industrial parts to it. All of the Walmart shopping center area is on my turf. The hospital, the cemetery. Lineberger Park, Shield Museum, my area from Ward 2 goes all the way up to the food line up on North New Hope, and also part of Spencer Mountain Village. Although I've lived in that ward for 25 years, I've worked and traveled and frequented businesses all around our city and our county. Gastonia as a whole is a great place. The old adage in my household was it was very hard to get me to go back to Charlotte because I wanted to stay in town. Not just because of traffic, because I like to support local businesses and to give back to the community that helps support all of our residents.
Yeah, that's that one. And same question for all 5 of y'all. How will you balance delivering results for your ward while goals that affect all the residents of Gastonia?
First of all, I would lead by example. And my top priority for Ward 2 would be to work with the community and still be transparent while looking for opportunities for improvement, so that Ward 2 can be vigilant and able to stand out and be the best ward, and communicating with the council team members with positive dialogue, and communicating and implementing changes necessary to align with our business sectors and growth in the community, and working hard on the hard things together, and keeping our paradigms open while making decisions and doing that in a timely and accurate manner.
Could you repeat the question?
Certainly. How will you balance delivering results for your ward while contributing to the citywide goals that affect all residents of Gastonia?
Real simple. I would basically use what I've done down in Neesboro, South New Hope. I've been doing a garden down there for 4 years, so trying to basically get the community to start revitalizing it by all of us helping other people. So people that's challenged with homeless, we feed them, try to feed them free, let them eat out of the garden. Basically, we have local businesses that's in our area. I have a family business there. And as you know, South New Hope, they're doing a lot of building around there. So continue to clean up the neighborhoods. I've done mine, and of course, I would try to spread that all over the rest of Gastonia and encourage others to do the same thing. As I said before, lead by example, not by your mouth. It's just that simple.
Ward 2, I don't think is really particularly unique by comparison to other wards, because we all have the same wants, needs, and desires for our community. So I feel like that with economic development for the city, that's gonna help. That's really going to give a shot to every neighborhood to give a real boost. But more importantly, I think at this time, being able to have a ear to my neighbors, to be able to hear and to be able to actually vote and work on behalf of my community to make it a greater city as a whole. So with that, if Ward 2 is being promoted and boosted, then I know it's gonna, actually flow downhill to the greater city at large.
So Ward 1 is the farthest east of the center of Gastonia. It is growing rapidly because of the proximity to Charlotte, so we have a lot of challenges. The city has spent and invested over $60 million on expanding the water and sewer infrastructure, which is great for growth, but we have to be able to balance that and plan responsibly, because how are we gonna get those services, police, fire, etc., all the way out east to Ward 1? And then tying back into your question, I mean, we all want the best for the entire city. To me, yes, I represent Ward 1, but in actuality, we represent the entire city. You know, if I take a phone call from someone from Ward 3, I'm not gonna say, hey, let me pass this on to Jim, let him handle it. So collectively, we need to have responsible growth, invest in our infrastructure, engage with the community so that we can provide them with the best and most reliable utilities, transportation, etc. So I think that challenge, bringing it all together, not just Ward 1, but everywhere, will help the entire city and make us a strong city.
And Teresa, you're starting off question 3 for us. So along the lines, you would say we're gonna talk about some growth in infrastructure right now. Rapid residential and commercial growth constrain the city's infrastructure. How will you ensure that development in your ward is matched with adequate roads, utilities, and services?
Okay, well, all of I think your local issues that we have here in Gastonia are important, and they tie in together with the economic development and infrastructure because that is the wheel that puts everything else into gear. Economic development is all doing great. It's, buildings are coming up everywhere, homes are being built. There's, new businesses that are coming about, that when you see a sign that's stuck on the business, but the, building is still old and, needs repairing. But then on the other hand, we've got technology as well, which is great, which helps the economic development. But when you speak about the technology that's here, then the technology is going faster than actually our development is going. So you, the people, look at the city of Gastonia. Does it feel good when you walk through the city, and it's wonderful when you go downtown? And with that, I rest my case.
Yep, and same question. So rapid residential and commercial growth constrain the city's infrastructure. How will you ensure that development in your ward is matched with adequate roads, utilities, and services?
Well, first of all, it will be a collective thing with my colleagues on the council and voting, making sure we have a plan that's whoever's building, that we make sure that we go through that plan thoroughly and not just read over things and just vote on things that get passed, because the infrastructure is very important in the city. And we definitely need to make sure that we plan properly, and we also, when we're getting these plans and we're voting on, allowing certain people to build in our infrastructure, that we make sure that it's properly fitting for Ward 1, which is the one I'm running for. We make sure that it's proper and concise, and not we just reading over things and just voting. I'm gonna just leave it.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Certainly, yeah. What is your, rapid residential and commercial growth constrain the city's infrastructure? How will you ensure that development in your ward is matched with adequate roads, utilities, and services?
I think the word that we're looking for right now, that I've run across, because I've done a lot of door knocking over the last couple of weeks. And two things happen whenever I knock on the door and say, hey, I'm running for city council. And the two things that comes out of everybody's mouth is traffic and taxes. Traffic is a problem right now. With the traffic, I know that, that's a two-edged sword. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. If we don't have the roads to, adequate roads to be able to funnel the traffic smoothly and conveniently, that's a problem. We're having too many problems in the community like that, which with traffic, that also has a bearing and puts pressure on our schools, because our schools are at maximum capacity right now. So with that said, I think we need to really look at balancing the growth with what we have and how quickly we can reinforce and bring it up to par to be able to accommodate future growth.
I'll read it one more time as you guys pass the mic. Rapid residential and commercial growth constrain the city's infrastructure. How will you ensure that development in your ward is matched with adequate roads, utilities, and services?
Oh, I love this question, because this is the reason why I'm up here. To me, it's all about planning. We're right now planning not just the next 10 years, 20 years, but we're focusing on the next 50 years. This is for my kids, maybe my grandkids, your grandkids. So planning is a huge part of it. The city's right now working on the 2050 comprehensive plan, which will tie into our UDO, which will help control and kind of regulate some of the growth. And the county is working on the 2050 transportation comprehensive plan, which I've been to several of those and involved as on the steering committee, trying to figure out and plan transportation issues. Being on the Gastonia Cleveland-Lincoln MPO, we work a lot with planning, again, many, many years out. So it's important to balance both residential and commercial, so that way the tax burden and responsibility is balanced and as fair as possible to help reduce some of your taxes. So again, a lot of it goes back to planning. This is what I enjoy about it, and it's all about the future and planning and doing it correctly. And Gastonia's growing. We need to be precise and picky, and we can pick what we want in our city and what we don't want in our city at this time. Thank you.
I think Soup was reading off my card there about planning. Yesterday's hot topic was infrastructure, sewer and water. Being on the planning commission, and my experience from that, working with and reviewing the 2050 comprehensive plan for the city of Gastonia, I've learned a lot about how we're going to balance the needs of both property owners and property rights. Because developers have rights to develop certain properties under the UDO. Now, the UDO is not fixed in stone, and it continually evolves with the changes and the needs that we see here in the city. So we're not set in stone with that, and we will be able to move forward. With good planning and with good leadership, my hope is that I can bring some of that experience to the city as a whole, coming from Ward 2. No, you scratched out my copy. Thank you.
All right, we are gonna go on to question number 4. Walter, you'll kick us off first.
Okay.
Question 4 is focused on community engagement. What is your approach to staying in touch with residents of your ward between elections to ensure that they have a voice in city decisions?
Well, just basically continue to do what I do. I try to connect with my community now in all facets, basically talking to neighbors, asking them, you know, how's everything? Is it safe down here? You know, public safety part of it is very important. The housing is very important. We really need to do something about that. That's a very strong part in the city all over, but we having a little bit, we see a little bit in Ward 1 as well. So basically, it's connecting with the citizens and seeing what they want in our communities, and not just what I'm already doing, and which is cleaning up and trying to stay positive and beautifying the community.
As I mentioned a minute ago, I've done a fair amount of door knocking over the last couple of weeks, and I have had the wonderful opportunity of meeting a whole lot of neighbors that, and I say neighbors, some folks that I'm in Gardner Park area, back of it, but then I've been a whole lot in off of North New Hope, in that community up there, and have met some wonderful people. And you know, I have my little palm cards, I hand them out. I do have, you know, contact information on that. But then, you know, in the process of it all, I'm pleased to say I feel like I have made a whole bunch of new friends, and I've made sure that they are clear and they understand that I'm open and accessible, and I want to hear from them. I want to, you know, continue conversations. I want to have coffee. I want to be able to build a relationship. And I feel like that being a city council member representing Ward 2, it's all about the relationship and building it stronger and better.
Thank you. This is one of my, I have 5 pillars. This is one of them, and it is community investment and citizen engagement, which goes to your question. You know, I feel like every resident, every citizen, every business deserves to be heard and supported. I think that's part of being involved in the community, just like I mentioned when we first opened up. You know, the more people that get involved, the stronger the community will be. I also like to focus a lot on our youth. Of course, being a basketball coach and being involved with youth programs, you know, these children and everyone deserves, you know, positive outlets within the community, whether it's a park, whether it's green space, whether it's a community center. So a lot of these programs, buildings, parks, etc., that the city invests in, that helps bring the community together. That helps makes us a much stronger community. So that would be my case as far as citizen engagement. And of course, always watch our meetings online. come to the meetings. It's always good to see you. That's where you really are able to listen and learn and see what's going on with your great city.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Certainly. What is your approach to staying in touch with residents of your ward between elections to ensure that they have a voice in city decisions?
Thank you. It's about civic engagement. It's how I started down this process. It's how you all here, as members of the SBA, you are a civic organization. How I would approach it is from accessibility, communication, and transparency. On all of my cards that I'm handing out have a QR code. It's got both my email address and my cell phone number. Even throughout the process, if I'm not elected to this position, I will still advocate for my neighbors. It's how I got selected for this in the first place, and I hope to continue that role. That being said, you know, the job is to represent the community. To be an elected representative is to be chosen by your neighbors, your peers, and your businesses to be that voice for the city as a whole. Although I may reside in Ward 2, despite my fiance's restrictions to want to move somewhere else when we go somewhere in time, then I hope to fulfill my term for 4 years or longer, and then give back to the city.
Well, me being in Ward 2, I would like you to know that I would still do the same thing I'm doing now, is communicating with them and making each one feel like they're a vital part of the community. And everyone has a voice. So by going up, taking things to city council, getting it passed so that we can have a better community and branch out to the further places that need to be addressed as well. So just connecting with people, communicating with them, make them feel a vital part, and then girding them up when they're weak and can't go before, then you can be a voice and then they'll follow along with you. Thank you.
All right, and pass it down to Kathy, please. We're gonna start with our closing remarks. So each candidate will have 60 seconds to make their final pitch to everyone here, and I'll just add that we have a lot of folks watching online who may see this in the future. So candidates, make sure you make your plug for either your website or your social medias. How can these folks get in touch with you to ask more questions if they have those? But with that, Kathy, kick us off.
Okay, again, thank you very much for holding this forum. I feel like it's a great opportunity for all of us to share who we are and what our goals are for Gastonia. With that said, I really want everybody to take away from this that I am the voice. I want to be the voice of my community and my neighbors, and I do listen well. And I also want to make sure that everybody feels like that they can come to me with all the good, the bad, and the ugly of what they are experiencing in Gastonia, because I'll listen to all of it. But if you want to, I do have a Facebook page, Kathy Boswell for Gastonia City Council, and I do have a web page as well. So please feel free to contact me, and thank you very much.
I am very excited and glad that I had the opportunity to come here this morning. I want to say if you're looking for a change and a fresh start in our council, vote smart, vote hard. And also, if you want to come see me personally on 104 Annie Boys Road, Gastonia, North Carolina, 28056, you're welcome at my office. And also, my website is elect Walter James Hart Jr. Elect Walter James Hart Jr. Wixom, because I have so many websites. So, but that one, you can go on there and see all of my platform on there totally. But like I said, if you want to see me in person, feel free to come South New Hope. Vote hard, vote smart.
I like to leave with you that each and every one of you are a great part of this situation and everything that's going on in the world today. So without each one of us input on everything that's going on right now, we need to take that away and know that you are a vital part. I like to leave you with a song that I know that a man used to sing. His name was James Brown. And y'all remember he used to say a song real loud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. But this is 2025. We're still alive. And we still have hope that we can make a better community. So now it's say it loud. We the people and proud. And with that, thank you.
My name is Glenn Silverman. I'm running to be City Council Representative for Ward 2. I was inspired to run because I believe local government works best when it's accountable, transparent, and focused on results. My professional background in business management has taught me how to balance budgets, make tough decisions, and bring people together around common goals. Combined with my community involvement, I'm prepared to serve as a steady, solutions-driven voice on our city council. I'm out there on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, website. I'm accessible through my both phone and email address. Look forward to hearing more from you, from feedback after this event. And if there's anything I can do to help in the interim, we still have a month away, and there are some sitting city council members here that are listening for your voices too. I believe we can all make a difference for the betterment of the city of Gastonia. Thank you.
So I'd like to wrap up by saying, we've said a lot about a lot of the issues, but I want to go back to, my business experience, my municipal experiences, my family, my community mean the world to me. I want to touch on the other pillars since we're on here. One of them is safe streets create stronger neighborhoods, responsible planning and infrastructure. We've already talked about the community investment. Fiscal sanity and accountability, that's accountability for us as elected officials, for our public safety, and obviously doing everything in a responsible way. We all keep an eye on our pockets, right? We all, spend money, but sometimes we say, let's not spend it there. So as a city, I want to hold the city accountable fiscally and continue to learn and grow. My social media is Soup for Gastonia. Website, soupforgastonia.com. Call me, text me, email me anytime. I always want to hear from you. So thank you very much. Thanks for this opportunity here with the GBA, and appreciate you all being here.
Give it up for him, please. All right, I think we're gonna switch and we're gonna go on to Ward 4 and 5 now. Thanks for participating, everybody.
Hi, Nancy. Bye, Nancy. Bye.
Let's get started because I know we want to keep everybody on time. Steve always does a good job with that, so I'm going to try to follow Steve's footsteps and keep folks on time. So we're going to jump right in. Wards 4 and 5, each of you will have 2 minutes for opening remarks, opening statement, and then we'll go to questions, 60 seconds per answer per question for each of you. Same kind of pattern. We'll start here to my left with Jennifer and work our way down.
Thank you, James. I'm gonna stand up with my feet down because I'm so short. Good morning. Yes, good morning. All right, my name is Jennifer Stepp, and I am honored to be serving on the city council, and I have been for almost 8 years now. I am a lifelong resident of Gastonia. Grew up here, lived here, raised my family here, worked here. I am a former school teacher. I also work with the recreation department for the city and organized programming for kids events in the summertime. Served also as a minister of music, and have been an advocate in the community since I was a teenager, working in many capacities, serving with many different nonprofits, and serving on boards of nonprofits, and also many different committees and boards throughout the region and the state. And even one nationally with Braver Angels, which is a depolarizing effort that we are working on throughout our country. One of the things I did want to say about myself is I am a people person. Gastonia is what shaped me, who I am, made me who I am, so I'm heavily invested in our community. I care about our community. I've raised my family here, my grandkids are here, and I love the people here, so I fight for people. And I've always been a public servant all my whole life. That is my passion, is serving. And I'm proud of some of the progress we've made in many things, and will continue to work to even make our city a better place to live, work, and play for our community, with infrastructure needs, with public safety, with growth, with community connections, making sure our whole community is connected. Worked a lot with youth and with seniors, and am very interested in your quality of life and making sure you have the best quality of life that you can have as a resident of whatever age and whatever community you live in. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, GBA and the Little Theater. I am Cheryl Littlejohn, and I represent right now Ward 4. I was appointed in January of this year. And I'm gonna say this, it's indeed an honor to be here. The most important thing that I talk about is that I've had 24 years of already serving the community. When I came back 25 years ago, my experience and qualifications is this: I'm a proven leader in every aspect, in every career that I have chosen. Federal law enforcement. I am definitely the blue. I also represent and I hire young people. I have had a successful business, was able to sustain myself during COVID, Smith's Soul Food Bistro and the Legacy Event Center. I believe that the city of Gastonia has a lot more growing to do. The heart of Gastonia is downtown Gastonia, which I am over. But the most important thing is all wards deserve quality of infrastructure and quality services. And I think the most important thing is connecting with all citizens. And that is something that I have done prior to being appointed to the council. For me, it is this: teamwork makes the dream work. All of us are part of a team. We know what the heartbeat of Gastonia is, and that is business. And I have run a successful business for the last 20 years. I am also, and I say this, an educator. I have an education company, and I'm proud to say next week I will be in Birmingham. And the most important thing in Birmingham is that my program that I instituted has gone into schools and transforming lives. And I think that's the most important thing, that we as advocates in the city is, it's all about transforming lives, and it starts with businesses and it starts with neighborhoods. Thank you.
Hey y'all, my name is Clark Simon. I'm running for Gastonia City Council, Ward 5. A little bit about my background. I hope I don't get booze, but I did get my political science degree from The Ohio State University. So, go Bucks. There's none. But my professional career, I manage a nonprofit. It's a fiscal sponsorship, which is kind of like a community foundation. I help people that want to start doing good in their communities, based on their interest areas, that don't want to set up their own 501c3. So I handle their budgeting, I handle their programs, I handle their events, I handle their grants, or I write grants for them. And all of this to say, I have a deep true passion for giving back to the community, and that is one of the main reasons why I decided to run. I think Gastonia is a great place to live. I've lived here since 2018 in Forest Hills and have found a chosen family that has just kept expanding by knocking doors throughout the community, and also by knocking doors I've dropped 20 pounds. That was a silver lining. But giving back is my ethos. I was asked yesterday when I was with Glenn and Angela and Jennifer, what is your campaign slogan? Well, I don't have one, but the slogan I tell people, and I believe firmly, is it takes and costs us nothing to be kind. And that is the approach I will take when elected to City Council. We can be collaborative, we can support all our businesses, and I appreciate all of you for hosting this and coming out today, because business is the backbone of our city. Without you all, we would not have such a wonderful downtown. But we do have opportunities for growth and improvement, and that is something I would like to see happen when I am elected to City Council. Noting that it's not one person that can do it, it's a collaboration, and we all have to work together. So thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Angela Dreer, and I am running for Ward 4 City Council here in Gastonia. Thank you, GBA, for the invitation today. I'm glad to be here. I am a lifelong resident of Gastonia. I love it here. My children were reared here. I graduated from Ashburn High School. I ran a homeless shelter here in Gastonia for 13 years called As One Ministries. I have served over 6,000 homeless people here in this community. I have completed disability cases for individuals here as a source specialist for free. I continue to do that even now beyond that job. But a little bit about my history. I live in the Howland community. I live in a home that has been in my family for 135 years. I recently moved back there with my mom. I'm rooted in this community for my whole life. All I've known is community service, starting back when I was 12 years old, helping Mr. Archie, who blew a harmonica in the community with some fruit. So service is what I do. I worked for the Internal Revenue Service for 10 years of my life as an auditor, and then was promoted to a supervisory revenue agent. I'm proficient in nonprofit operation. I can set your nonprofit up and audit it at the same time. I went back to school and got a degree in early childhood education from Gaston College. As my accounting degree is from Belmont Abbey. And I went back and got a degree in early childhood, ran a child care center here in Gastonia for many years. Met Jennifer Stokes, and that's how I got involved and chaired the Mayor's Task Force on Homelessness here, and eventually was the coordinator of the continuum of care here in Gastonia. I currently hold a master's degree from UNC Charlotte, and I work for the Veterans Administration, and I serve the proud veterans that have served this country, and I serve them with a heart of compassion and love, and that's the same way I will serve the people of Gastonia. Thank you.
All right, like I said, we'll start here with Jennifer and work our way down the line. So your first question, tell us about your personal motivation. What is driving your desire to serve on City Council?
All right. So I would say that that would be my love for this city. Again, I'm being here my whole life. I've seen the changes. I've seen the changes from the west side being the best part of the city where everything was to everything moving east towards Charlotte. I've seen the textiles leave. I've seen the drama, the economic distress that it caused when people suddenly did not have jobs or the skills to find new jobs. When we didn't have the infrastructure money coming in because the water use had gone down, the sewer use had gone down. When we didn't have the tax base because those buildings were sitting empty. I saw downtown when it was vibrant, and I was walking that downtown with my grandparents and window shopping at Christmas time, to seeing everything move to the mall. But I've also seen other things come back and been a part of making that happen by serving in other ways besides the council. And so my drive is to continue to bring us back to our glory days and even beyond what we used to be when we were one of the crown jewels of the South because of our rich textile history and the things that we provided throughout this world. So I want to bring that back and then just make life better for families. My family's so important to me, raising my kids here. and grandkids and other family, just to make quality of life better for everyone in our community.
Thank you. I would say quite personal is that born and raised here, but I would say this, the young people in this community, specifically in Ward 4, we've had 3 murders. I was a part of a program at Gaston Boys Club with Mr. Vernon Perry, who mentored myself and so many other people. I see right now that we need more mentoring. So the personal it is this, I came from North York Street, 1207. I grew up at 843 Barclay Street, and I see a lot of violence in Ward 4. Overall, I see this. If I, born and raised out of Gastonia, North Carolina, somebody gave me hope, somebody believed in me, and I think that that is where a lot of young people right now are lacking. And I think the most important thing is for me, if I got it here in Gastonia, and I was able to go to University of Tennessee and play for the greatest and be on a championship team, bringing those same championship qualities back. And it's all about transferable skills and putting in the work with young people and saying that you can do the same thing.
Can you just repeat the question one more time, sir?
What is driving your desire to serve on city council?
Like I mentioned before, my heart is about service and giving back in any way that can be harnessed. I've had the privilege, and I greatly appreciate Jennifer for putting me on the historic board a few years ago, and now I'm currently on the stormwater board, which is a buzzword that was all day yesterday, as the vice chair. But seeing how much opportunity there is by being able to serve and understand what goes on in the city and hearing from people their needs really kind of kicked me in the butt to gear up and decide, like, this is something I want to do. This is how I can continue to give back to everyone, because at the end of the day, we are one community, and like you always say, what we do for the least of these, every single voice in this community matters, and that's what I'm hoping to give voice to by running for city council.
What sparked my desire to run is that my children are all grown. And I have the time now to serve our community in a greater capacity. I have been here my entire life, and I've seen some wonderful changes occur here in Gastonia. We're not a perfect place, but we're an evolving place. We're becoming what we should be. And I want to be part of that greatness that we have going on and be able to address the issues in my ward and my city. Working together with my motto has always been is care for each person here, communicating effectively with each other, and collaborating in order to go toward a specific goal. We have a comprehensive plan 2025, the draft is out there. We have a strategic plan, and I want to work with the citizens and the city of Gastonia to move forward, to put action and feet to the plan so that we accomplish the goals that we have set for this city to make it a great place to work.
Thank you. And Cheryl, you'll start us off with question number 2, which focuses on citywide leadership. How will you approach decisions that benefit the city as a whole, even if they conflict with the interests of specific groups or your board?
I think the most important thing in that is I've already done it. I think in the last 8 months, a lot of the things that I personally have voted on may not be in the greatest interest of Ward 4, but I saw the greater need for Gastonia. And that is, I'm gonna say this, about a $20 million trail is going to be put in another part of the city. There's development in other parts of the city. And I see where there is lack in maybe infrastructure in Ward 4. So for me, I look at the greater good. I look at, most importantly, how can the city of Gastonia continue to grow? But selfishly, I'm in a ward that I feel like infrastructure has not been. So for me, it is working with city management and city heads of departments. I'm only one vote, but I feel like that I've already accomplished that and done that, and that is voting for the good of the city of Gastonia.
So I agree with everything Cheryl said. Running for city council, you're one voice among a total of 7 people, counting the mayor. by being elected to a ward system, it does not mean that I would only represent individuals in Ward 5. Again, we are one whole community. Every vote counts towards every person. So prioritizing areas in which we can do the most good for the most people is the direction that should be taken on City Council. Right now, I don't know that it is always the case, as Cheryl brought up. Sometimes there are places that are overlooked that shouldn't be for decision-making purposes, but I think having a robust City Council that can work together, that can agree to disagree, and understand that their role is to be a public servant, which means you serve the public, and that's what we need more of.
In the title, it says City Council Representative for Ward 4. So I would be representing the city and the ward together. It's about negotiation, it's about listening to each other, collaborating, and making the best decision with the information that we have at that time. And so I will be looking out for Ward 4, and there'll be some times when I'll vote against something because I think it might be too harsh for the board. But there will be times when I will have to vote on things for the greater good of the city of Gastonia. Someone asked me the question one time when the ballpark was done. I went to all of those planning meetings and I raised my hand and I was wanting it to come. And sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad. So I think that working toward a common good, collaborating together, having decent, honest discussions, making a vote to the best of our ability is what we owe our citizens here, whether they're in Ward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, so that we get things accomplished for the city as a whole. Thank you.
And Jennifer, I'll read it one more time while I pass the mic. How will you approach decisions that benefit the city as a whole, even if they conflict with the interests of specific groups or your ward?
Okay, so I will approach them the way that I've been approaching them for 8 years, and that is getting together with my colleagues and getting together with staff members to get the information we need, to have discussions, to do that in a respectful way with an open mind and an open heart, knowing that every one of them has their own talents and their specialties and their perspective, and that bringing all that together helps us make a better decision. It's about relationships, having relationships with your staff, which I have great relationships with our staff, and with our council members, I have great relationships with them, and being able to know that we have to work to see that the whole city is taken care of, because something that happens in Ward 4 or Ward 1 or Ward 3 or Ward 2 still is good for Ward 5 because it benefits the whole city. So it's just about collaboration and working together.
Clark, you'll start us off with question 3. We're gonna talk about downtown development. Downtown Gastonia is growing, but not all areas are seeing equal benefits. What specific steps would you take to build on current momentum and promote inclusive citywide economic growth?
So I think first and foremost, we have a beautiful downtown. We have some great restaurants, great shops, but we also have a lot of vacant buildings and fronts. I think we could do a better job promoting the business environment and climate here by showcasing just how rich our history is, the successes that we've had, and the opportunities for growth. We need to invite and bring in new, good businesses with good paying jobs that are sustainable for the long term, that are then able to give back through sales tax to our tax base. Right now, 60% of the general fund, almost 60% of the general fund, is paid for by property taxes. That's not sustainable. We need to incentivize not only our downtown, but other vacant storefronts throughout the city. Right down on 321, they're putting in a couple new shops across from the plasma clinic, and that's great. It's sat vacant for a long time. We need to do more of that to entice people to come in, enjoy, and see how wonderful it is to own a business and live here.
We definitely need development downtown and businesses coming in. I would love to see the city of Gastonia be vibrant like Greenville and some other places that bring in tourism so that we get tourism dollars here in our community. I think that we need to highlight the businesses that we do have here in our community, that our website is up to date, showing the great things that we already have. I would love to see businesses going all the way from where the old Ford used to be, all the way down to the ballpark. not only just on Main Street, but on Franklin also, because when you come down Franklin, you see a lot of vacant buildings. And I think we need to advertise how some of these businesses can be used in our community, and look at what we already have, update our website, get the word out there. I see we just got a new coffee shop downtown, and we need to come out as citizens and be patrons at the businesses that we have here in the community.
All right, so, I'm gonna focus just on downtown, because that's the question's about downtown, not business in general. All right, so one of the things that we've already done is we've brought in a social district. We've partnered with the GBA to work specifically on downtown. We have a reimagined downtown Gastonia plan. We have bolstered our incentives, our facade grants to help businesses downtown. We're working more on marketing downtown. So those are things we've already done. And some of the things that we can continue to do, well, you know, our downtown's on a main street, but it's not a main street. So we've got to find a way to direct people to our main street. We've got to continue to bolster marketing. One of the things I like to do is to hire a position for commercial code enforcement. We've got to have stricter code enforcement for commercial buildings and enforce those. Potentially, we're looking into some type of landlord policy or a vacant building policy, and bring in more incentive programs, maybe bring a college satellite to school, and just partner with other people to get people downtown.
I'm gonna agree with Jennifer. I think that a lot of collaborations have already been made with GBA, but I would say this: expand the boundaries of downtown. I think that Franklin Boulevard, when you come in from Charlotte, that's Wilkerson, once you hit Franklin, that is the gateway into downtown Gastonia. And when you look at 321, so from north, south, east, and west, those things from an infrastructure standpoint could be better. And most important is downtown continue to grow. And when it grows, it lends to more opportunity. And a lot of the vacant buildings, and it's just like everybody has said up here, it's about relationships. Building better relationships with some of the owners and seeing it that they can maybe, I'm gonna say this, release or sell one building will lead to 10, but it starts with those relationships that we can change so we can have downtown to continue to grow and be the heartbeat of the city.
All right, our final question number 4. Angela, kick us off. Here we go. We're gonna talk about council effectiveness and image. City council meetings have recently drawn negative attention. What would you do to promote more effective governance, respectful dialogue, and a more positive image of Gastonia?
Okay, so I've had to do this my entire life, is represent my city in the way that I was brought up, in dignity, respect, and communication. There's ways for us to be able to communicate effectively in a professional manner, and stay focused on the topic. Because I think we have to be mindful and respectful of the time of the citizens. Sometimes our citizens are staying up late at night if they're viewing online. They worked a hard day, and we owe them the job. A city council is to get up there, make the decisions, and move on. There's meetings and subcommittees that go on where things are discussed in advance. There's material that is gone out in advance, and so I would be reading that material so that I could be well prepared when the meeting comes about, so that I know my position and I know how I'm gonna vote when I go in. Thank you.
City council meetings have recently drawn negative attention. What would you do to promote more effective governance, respectful dialogue, and a more positive image of Gastonia?
All right. So I will continue, number one, to do what I've been doing, which is to be prepared, to have conversations that I need to have to take place with any of my colleagues that I want their perspective or their idea or want to share mine with. But I would also continue to be a reasonable voice, like I have been during the meetings, and try to keep things calm in the capacity that I have. and present myself in a way that is a positive example for our city. But I would also continue to try to build relationships. It still comes back to relationships. Continue to build those relationships to help others come together and to be able to use some of the skills that I've learned through the depolarization efforts to have people be able to have reasonable dialogue and break down some of those walls that may cause some of the tensions in the meeting.
Interesting question, because I'm gonna speak to it directly. When we need change, and I'm gonna go back to the civil rights, women's suffrage, none of those voices were quiet. In order for us to have change, and I'm gonna say this, I'm passionate about my particular ward, and I know the city of Gastonia, but some things have to change. And change for a lot of people is very uncomfortable. But I would say this, in order for us to keep going and making change, I think the people who say that it's conflict, no, it's subjective. It is accountability and transparency. It's difficult for sometimes municipal government. My voice will continue to be loud and proud for those that have been marginalized and neglected, while also still making sure that downtown continue to thrive. And you have to know how to do it in a way that gets people attention. So getting people's attention sometimes rub people the wrong way. And so for me, it is, guess what? Sometimes rubbing people the wrong way, having direct communication with city managers and my colleagues in a way that understands that change is necessary with a voice.
So I agree, communication is key, we all know that. But like I said at the beginning, it costs us nothing to be kind, it costs us nothing to collaborate and listen. Because when you start off a meeting and you can barely get through the Pledge of Allegiance before finger pointing and everything like that, well, that's why we end up on the Charlotte News and not in a good way. When elected, I will bring my ears first, because you have two to listen, and one mouth to speak. I will listen more than I speak. I will work collaboratively. We need to reinstill the belief that we have confidence in our elected officials. One thing I always tell folks, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So why the hell are we putting up with the same thing over and over again and anticipating that the behaviors and mindsets are going to change? I will bring in a collaborative spirit that will listen and work, whether I agree with you all the time or not, just for the advancement of everybody in Gastonia.
All right, pass it to Jennifer. She'll kick us off. It's her turn, and it's just closing statements. So each of you will have 1 minute to make your closing remarks.
Thank you again for being here, for those of you who have stuck around for a while. And thanks to the GBA and the theater and for Gilmore's for the coffee. So I just wanted to wrap up today saying that it's been a pleasure to serve you for 8 years, to work with you for 8 years. Most all of you out here, I've met before because I have been very invested in our community. People say, you're everywhere. I try to be, because that's the way I can know what's going on in the community, and that's the way I can hear the concerns and the ideas of the people that I serve. To be a true representative, you have to be engaged, and I am engaged, and I can continue to be so. I do want to talk about a couple of my main points, which would be to continue to strengthen public safety, to have responsible spending, and that means responsible because we can't let our things be at risk, like our infrastructure and our services, strong infrastructure, reliable services, smart growth, and we didn't really talk about that. There's a lot we can say about that. And quality of life, working on some community initiatives, and just my connections, because I have connections here throughout our city, throughout our county, throughout our region, and throughout our state, and that helps us get things done. Thank you. Oh, Jennifer, stepforgastonia.com, a positive step for Gastonia.
Yeah. Website and social media.
Okay, Cheryl Littlejohn, the right choice and the right voice for change. And I say positive change. It is this, I'm running because I believe in transformation. I believe that this city is built on greatness, but no ward can be left behind. I believe that no voice should be silenced. I believe that no family or community should be overlooked or marginalized. I believe in transparency and accountability. The one thing that I would say that the pillars of my campaign is public safety, number one. Public safety, and not in Ward 4, but that is the entire community, because we have seen in the last couple of years, and I'm gonna say this, in the last couple of months, violence and murders. Now, I will say this, affordable housing. Well, what is it? Housing for the unhoused. It is not just it is a community effort, and it's a collaborative effort. Also, I'm looking at the stop. Youth programming because we grow this community by growing our youth.
I promise I'll catch us back up on time. So everything I've talked about, my pillars of my campaign are lower taxes and fees, which means that we have a council that fully understands the budget and understands ways in which we can cut some of that waste. The next one would be, and I appreciate you bringing this up, I've been saying smarter growth since I started back in May, knocking doors. And it's just being mindful of the ways in which we grow and listening to the studies that the city pays for to tell you whether you can or shouldn't grow in those areas due to traffic implications and things like that. And finally, we need new leadership that actually listens, so that when I go to every city council meeting, like Angela and I do, it doesn't start off with finger pointing and the blame game. So that is why I'm running. My name is Clark Simon for Ward 5, and you can go to clarksimon.com.
Hello, my name is Angela Dreer. Introducing myself again, I'm running for Ward 4 City Council. My website is angeladreer.com. My platform is transparency and accountability. Of course, I love the homeless community. Affordable housing is very important to me, along with economic development in our community so that people have jobs that they can go to. Public safety, ensuring that we get back to the community policing concept so that people in their neighborhoods feel safe, talking to an officer when there's something, a need there, and working with our seniors and our youth, doing Big Brother, Big Sister programs, making sure that our community has a voice and that they can reach out, call me, and I will call you back. And so that's the one thing that I can promise, is that if you have a need, if I can't meet that need, I will put you in the right direction, but I will respect you and give you a call back. Please vote Angela Dreer, Ward 4. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Clark.
All four of them in the first 5 as well, all 9 candidates. Thanks to them coming out. Thanks to the GBA for putting this on, and thanks to the Little Theater for hosting today. I think Steve has a couple remarks, and then we'll go from there.
Well, James took 2 of them, so thank you again to Little Theater. Just for this civil discussion, both with our audience, our candidates, best of luck to everyone here. We have something called the Charlotte Election Hub, and there's going to be a Gaston Election Hub soon, so stay tuned for that. You're going to get educated more and more from all of our candidates, not only municipality, but as we get to county commissioners, judicial, etc. I'm not going to explain how the whole ward election system works, so ask one of the candidates or ask me in person and you'll understand a little bit more of what your ballots look like. And then I do want to thank our mayors here, Dave Curlin's here, Danielle Barber, all of our current ones, especially to Dr. Curlin. I like to give him a round of applause as he is wrapping up his tenure. And then prayers to Jim Gallagher. I know his sister-in-law passed away, I guess, in the last day, so he's unable to make it there. Next meeting, November 6th, a little bit later at the Gastonia Conference Center. We hope to see you there, and at so many other things. Thank you all, and go Gastonia.